Okay.
Powerful. Give me a sound effect for powerful.
A sound effect for powerful?
Yeah, the word powerful.
Powerful. Rah.
I'm trying to think of one. A sound effect for powerful. Like, I want to be like dun 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 dun. That's not powerful. Is that Star Wars?
That almost sounded like Star Wars with the Empire coming in.
Yeah,
that's a terrible thing, actually, though.
Cut that. All right, yours was better. Okay.
Actually, I got a funny story about that
Okay.
that particular tune. I was sitting around with my friends one time, and we were playing Risk.
Yeah.
And do you know the game of Risk?
I've heard of it. I've never played it.
Okay,
I know the gist of it.
It's the game of world domination,
Yes.
right? So you basically, you get your pieces, and then you get your certain countries, and then you have to,
Take over the world.
try to take over the world.
Yeah.
So as we're setting up the board, I just start, all of a sudden, just out of the blue, I start humming to myself. As I'm humming this, everybody around me started to get terrified because they're like, yeah, so we had this guy who's like from the Empire that we're playing with here. So it was pretty funny. I think I actually won that game though, so
That's good.
it worked.
Good. You must have intimidated them.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay. We have 8 powerful tips for those who have lost the zeal in their life.
8 powerful tips.
Yeah. So I'll go.
Rah.
So I will go through them each. We'll go through them. I'll say them each one, and then we'll go back and talk about each one. Does that sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, cool. So there is 1, stay around people who bring out the best in you and don't stress you out. 2, be a warrior, not a worrier. Take action. 3, keep saying this to yourself. You are stronger than this. 4, always remember that this too shall pass. 5, find a way or build one. 6, the only person who can defeat you is yourself. 7, it's not the length, but the depth of life that matters. And 8, embrace the process. Those are the 8.
Okay.
So if you've lost your zeal in life, these are ways that you can gain it back.
Okay, so number 1.
Stay around people who bring out the best in you and don't stress you out.
Yes. So light breeds light. So what happens is that we just talked about in the previous show, we were talking about like build that fire in you and like get excited.
Yeah.
So if you're around another person who has fire, what happens?
Your fire.
Your fire just builds bigger, right? Yeah. So same sort of thing. If you surround yourself around other people who have knives in their butts too,
yeah.
you're all going to be hopping.
Yeah.
You're just going to go. So yeah, when it comes to this, I think fire is a little better in this situation.
Yeah.
Then that it breeds it, and it makes it so that it's contagious. Yeah. So even if somebody tries to throw a little bit of water on your fire, you're around that other person that has the same flame. They just reignite you and just get you going again and get you in the right mindset of just like, yeah, let's get excited.
And like if you have somebody else to help you ignite that fire's just going to get bigger. And like the end goal is going to be much bigger than what it probably was just doing it yourself without anybody
exactly
helping you.
Yeah, so it's like
I'm thinking of a bonfire, honestly, and I'm thinking everybody brings a little bit of wood, throws that in. Is your fire going to be bigger if you throw in your few pieces, or is your fire going to be bigger if everybody throws in, everyone has zeal?
And that's when there's a real team effort, right? So when everybody has the same kind of zeal in what they're doing and they put that all, and everyone puts that all in together, then the results are really amazing, right? And so that's the difference that a team can make versus just being yourself and just being by yourself and trying to do it.
Yeah.
That's really hard to get that dynamic though. And so oftentimes, even in business, you'll hear like investors being interested in certain businesses specifically because they know the team that's involved, right? And so the team, when they look at the team, it may not even be necessarily because of the profiles that these guys have. They may see how these guys are, they know how these guys work, and they can see how they have all that zeal together in what they're doing, that they know that they're going to accomplish great things. So that's something that even matters to investors who are like, if you're wanting to get into business and you want to be able to attract an investor, then if you have a team that has all that together, then you're going to do really well. Like you're going to attract much more in terms of people wanting to work with you.
Yeah.
The truth is though, it's really hard to have that because there's always this one person or this other person that sometimes is on the team and you may not have found the right person that really is aligned. But that's why, like, even right now with what we're doing with Pure Place, for example, right? There was that kind of misalignment in the past where not everybody had the same level of zeal in terms of what we were working on.
Yep.
But now, like all the new people have come on board, before they came on board, like one of the first conversations we were having is, why Pure Place? Why are you wanting to work with this and so forth? And of course, all of them, they all had that have joined us now, had some degree of just like, this is exciting what we're doing here, and this is going to like change the way things are. And I'm just like, exactly, you know, like that's the kind of excitement we want to have here, and this is the kind of this type of energy that comes together. It just creates that bonfire, like you talked about, and then you end up just rushing through everything.
Yeah, I'm super pumped with the team because. It kind of brings it back. Like I know you can have zeal and you can light your own fire and you can make your own fire big, but it's nice to know that the fire is going to be growing through a bigger team and everyone's going to. I'm just super excited because I see it and everyone's throwing in their logs. And
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's going like this. Yeah, which makes me happy. Number 2 was be a warrior, not a worrier. Take action. So I'm a worrier.
Okay.
But, yeah, but I don't know. I'm definitely a worrier, but I guess if you start to get worried and you start thinking of like those negative thoughts, because honestly, worry is negative thoughts.
Yes.
That's when you need to take a step back. And which we talked about in the previous episode as well. You need to take a step back and you need to reassess it and you need to go in full force and take action. Like exactly what it's saying.
Yeah. So no wars were ever won by the soldiers worrying about the outcome. Right.
They went in for one goal and one goal only.
Yeah, they were completely focused on success.
Yeah.
Right. Whether they made it or not, that was how they ended.
Yeah.
So they were warriors.
Yeah.
Right. And so likewise, I mean, this is what really made the difference in terms of like being able to win a war or win a battle. Right.
Yeah.
So same sort of thing. If you're worried about something, the truth is, fear is nothing but the construct of your imagination.
Right. It's
You're
so true.
You're focused on what doesn't exist that could be, but doesn't. Right? It is completely constructed in your imagination, and your mind and your body are responding to it.
Yeah.
Right? Your thoughts are things, and when you have those fears, you are generating those things into reality in your mind. And so then your body thinks it's real, and so you start to have, your heart rate goes up, and then you start to feel anxiety, and then you start to respond as though it's real, but it's not. Right?
So what happens if you think like, so say someone like me, I am a worrier, I'm fully admitting to that. So sometimes in some situations, I tend to think the worst. But I also know that in the end, even if it turns out bad, it was never as bad as what I picture it to be. Do you know? I don't know where I'm going with this. Like in the end, so when I think of something, I think, but I also think, I don't know. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No, I don't have a single clue actually what you're saying here.
I guess I'm just like wondering, so like if I think something terrible is going to happen, and then that's a loss of zeal right there if I'm thinking that way.
Yeah, you just put water on your flame right there.
Right.
Yeah. So now you're, instead of being the warrior and charging towards it, you're just going to cower away from it because you're afraid of it.
Right.
So,
but I also know deep down that it's not going to be as bad as what I'm thinking.
So what you need to do
is... my fire's just smoking now. It's not out, but it's not lit.
Yeah. So what you need to do, if you say deep down, then you got to reach deep down and pull that out. Like you just got to, if deep down, that's what that it's not that bad,
Yeah.
then you need to turn your focus towards that,
Yeah.
right? So it's just like when you're driving a car,
Yeah.
you will go in the direction that you're focused,
Yes.
right?
We've talked about this before. Right?
Exactly. So same sort of thing. If deep down you know that it's going to be fine, then just turn your direction towards that. Be like,
Why even think like that?
and dismiss everything, right?
Yeah.
And so then you just start focusing on building that fire. And if it's deep down, maybe you got to focus a little harder and actually be like cognizant of doing that
Yeah.
to dismiss those thoughts. Now, the more you do that, though, the more you build that building brick, the more you're going to actually not have to reach deep down.
Right.
Now it's going to come to the surface.
It's going to come to the surface.
And
It's gonna be
next
on
thing
the
you know,
surface.
you're just going to be exuding like total confidence and warrior-like behavior in everything you do.
Yeah.
Right? And then everybody's just like, oh, she's so confident. How many times have you been told that?
Actually, you?
Didn't you just tell me the other day about how your friends told you that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
I
just
don't
like,
like to brag about it.
but then it comes to the surface, and the next thing you know, it's just like other people see it around, like
Yeah.
other people start to see it
Yeah.
instead of having to reach deep down for it.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I actually have a shirt that says, and the whole reason I bought it is because of what it said. It said, "I'm a warrior, not a quitter."
There you go.
And like when I read that, it kind of pumps you up. So maybe just having a couple like little quotes along the side of you, like.
You mean like merch with really good quotes?
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, there you go. Me too. Okay, number 3. Keep saying this to yourself. You are stronger than this.
Yep.
So again, I think that comes down to saying, you could say anything to yourself as long as it's positive.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to just be, you are stronger than this. You can do this. You are stronger than this. Like, what are some other things you could say to yourself? I got this.
Yeah.
I'm a warrior, not a quitter.
Yeah. Quitters never win and winners never quit.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one that I like. But this goes back to what I was saying in the last episode about how God never gives you a test greater than what you can bear, sort of thing, right? Your shoulders, you have big enough shoulders to carry your burden.
If not,
and if
grow
you need
bigger.
and if you need bigger shoulders, and grow bigger shoulders, right?
Yep.
So these are kind of like little things that you can say to yourself, you're stronger than this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is that I don't think there's anybody, no matter how successful they are, really knows the full capacity of just how strong they are. We are always tested to reach greater limits.
Yeah.
Like we go so far, and then there's tests and difficulties that happen. The next thing you know, we're doing things that we never imagined we could possibly do, right? But that is proof that we are stronger than we know.
Yeah.
So as long as we can actually be cognizant, as long as we can, that's not a very common word. As long as we can be mindful of the way that, as long as we be mindful that, I got to go back to, in a lot of spiritual teachings, it's all about us being spiritual beings, and that we are imbued with great power, so to speak. Where in Christian tradition, it's we were made in the image of God. It's said, right? So just think about that for a second. You were made in the image of the creator of the universe. So that's very, very powerful, right? So if that's the case, then how much of your potential have you actually realized? Because it doesn't quite look that way when you look at most people's lives, right? So it's like, a lot of people tend to poo-poo on that idea because it's kind of like, yeah, but look at people, they're not really all that great, so, and it's just like, but no, you're stronger than this. If you were indeed created in the image of an almighty creator, then that means that you have greater potential than you could possibly imagine. And there's so many stories, if you look at the annals of history, that actually show like people in really crazy circumstances that suddenly, were able to find like extraordinary power, whether it be in terms of intelligence or whether it be in terms of like suddenly gaining, superhuman strength, or being able to like outsmart something that was like that was life threatening, like all these things that under normal circumstances you'd think, oh man, they're never going to make it through that. They make it, right? So the fact is that we're full of surprises as human beings, and so we're full of surprises. We know we're stronger than whatever it is that's in front of us. So if we can continue to say that, then we can then we can actually manifest it and bring it to the surface and actually make it happen.
I agree. All right, number 5, find a way or build one.
Find a way or build one. Did you skip number 4 altogether?
No, I did that. Oh, number 4. Number 4, always remember that this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just, again, if you kind of get into like the negative mindset, or somebody's throwing water on that fire, like we are going to keep going back to that. Yeah. Remember that it will pass, and you're still gonna go forward. I guess you just have to keep that in your head.
Yeah.
And not be brought down by that water.
Yeah, brought down by the water. so put out by the water.
Put out by the water. Yeah, that's better.
So yeah, this too shall pass is a very popular phrase, I think, with a lot of people, because oftentimes we feel like we're overwhelmed by life.
Yeah.
You know, and in those kind of circumstances, we kind of have to just shift our perspective and go, you know what, this is the way it is now, but it's not going to be like this forever. So this too shall pass, and because it's very easy to get caught up in the moment and then have it overwhelm you, right?
I know all about that.
So think about what I said in the previous episode. So think about what I said in the previous show about you need to have a vision that's so big that everything else is small compared to it.
Yes.
So that's the same sort of thing. If you have a vision that is so big, then when obstacles come in the way, this too shall pass becomes kind of like it just passes so fast you barely even saw it. You know, like because you were just running towards that huge vision, and those little molehills that you just crush, you know, seem to not really have that much impact on you.
Right.
So grow your vision to where you are in such a state that these sorts of things, when you are in a state where this too shall pass, happens. If your vision's so big, the idea of this too shall pass will just happen like that, you know, versus kind of wallowing in the situation. You're just, no, I gotta move towards my vision, and I'm just so excited about it, and you just keep going because whatever's happening in that moment doesn't matter. You know where you're going, right? So if that's top of mind, if that becomes like what you really see in front of you, then everything that's around you that might be the circumstance of that moment is just something that you're just going to push through. And this too shall pass. And it won't be just like, it won't, like so many times when I hear that phrase, I hear people kind of wallowing like, this too shall pass. You know, there's just no energy to it. There's no zeal.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's just like, this is going to pass. You know, like, oh, this is only temporary. Oh, this is only going to happen today. It's like, oh, in a week we're going to be through that. You know, all this kind of stuff. It's like, you just end up like just pushing through these things like they're not even obstacles, and they aren't, because oftentimes they're just constructs of your mind saying like, oh no, we're in a situation now. It's like, nope, we're on our way there, and this is just along the way.
So instead of halting it, knowing that it'll pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, number 5, find a way or build one. Find a way or build one. I guess as soon as you remember that this too shall pass, you're going to find that new path. What? I don't know what I'm saying.
Find a way or build one. So I have a quote in my office.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
What is it?
That's what I think of when I think of this one. So it's a quote from Harvey Specter from Suits.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen like pretty much almost every episode of that.
I've never seen any.
You've never seen it?
No.
Oh my gosh. So probably
Coming from the girl who's never seen Star Wars either.
So apparently it's a worldwide phenomenon, because even people that I talked to in India were just like, oh, Suits, I love that series. I'm like, what? Like, you watch that, right? So it's all about this like prodigy kid who like he's basically just like a drug dealer, and he just like has gone nowhere in life, but he's like this prodigy that can remember everything.
Okay.
Right? And so like he's got like a photographic memory.
Yeah.
So he knows everything about law, but he's never gone to school. Like
he's got the knowledge.
Yeah, but
Does
not
he have the zeal?
But well, that's just it. He didn't have the zeal to go through school, because he was always just crushed by it, because he knew more than his professors. You know, he would read a book and he would immediately know everything.
So
right?
he has to find a way.
Yeah. So what ends up happening in the series is that he finds his way into an interview for becoming working at this law firm, and the guy who's interviewing him, Harvey Specter, is like this big hotshot lawyer, you know, and very complicated character. So it just goes on like that, where he's developing as a character, like he's growing, but he's got this underlying thing of the fact that he's not actually a real lawyer.
Right.
Right? So, because he hasn't gone to school and he hasn't passed the bar and he hasn't done all these things he's supposed to do, right? And meanwhile, Harvey Specter is this hotshot lawyer that's trying to raise him up and kind of help to what's the word I'm looking for?
Not train.
What's that word? I can't think of it now.
Mentor. Yeah.
Yes.
I knew to start with an M.
Yeah. So Harvey Specter's mentoring him into becoming a great lawyer because he could see that he has
So
talent.
he sees he has potential.
He sees the
talent,
potential and talent, right? So, anyways, one great quote from the show is full of awesome quotes, right? But one great quote from Harvey Specter that I have on the wall in my office is, "When you're backed up against the wall, break the goddamn thing down."
Yeah.
Right? Which is just like classic Harvey Specter, right? It's like if you're backed up against the wall, don't feel like you're backed up.
Yeah.
You just break down the wall behind you.
And keep going.
Yeah. So it's just like same sort of thing. It's just like find a way or build one, right? So if you're in a situation where you can't see a way out, then you create a way out, right? So it's always that attitude of knowing that there's a way, right? Where there's a will, there's a way.
Where there's a will,
right?
Yeah.
Where there's where there's zeal, there's a way. is what we're saying here.
Yeah.
So same sort of thing, and it really just takes the sort of can-do attitude, right? So oftentimes, find a way or build one. Even just thinking about your work, right? So it's one thing to have a task at hand and then just say, well, I don't know how to do that, and then just don't do anything, right?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, well, nobody showed me how to do that. It's like, take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
Find a way or build one, right? It's like, you don't know how to do that. Well, then go find out how to do it, right? If you need help, okay, ask for help.
Yeah.
Don't just sit there and then come back. Well, so did you do it? No, I didn't know how to do it. Like, you need to take responsibility for yourself, right? So if you have zeal for what you're doing, you do find a way to build it. Yeah, and you just go on and do it. But if you just always have an excuse because you're not taking personal responsibility, then you're not going to get anywhere.
No.
Right? So always you got to find a way or build one.
I like that one. Find a way or build it. All right, number 6. The only person who can defeat you is yourself.
I kind of think of like a marathon runner, and how they have to break through what they call the wall.
Yeah.
There comes a point where your body is just like giving in to all the buildup of lactic acid in your muscles, and you're just like feeling nothing but pain.
Yeah.
And when you can be able to break through that, it becomes everything. All it becomes at that point is a mental game, right? Where you can keep going and you can break through it if you have the will to break through it.
Yeah.
Right. But the only person who can defeat you is yourself. Means that if you don't have that will, if you actually don't push yourself to break through those points, then the only person that actually stopped you is you.
Right.
Right? It's not, the government. It's not some other person.
Stop pointing fingers.
Stop pointing fingers.
Yeah.
Take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And understand, if you aren't doing well at your job, it's because of you.
Yeah.
If you're not doing well in business, it's because of you.
Yeah.
Right? So there's always a way, right? The only thing that's stopping you is you. So as soon as you can do that, then it becomes just you challenging yourself and actually breaking through whatever's holding you back.
Yeah.
So, and that's where when you have the zeal to get through things, it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's so easy to put the blame on somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
So easy.
Oh yeah.
Probably one of the easiest things to do in life.
It's very common.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of people don't get very far.
Right. Interesting. Number 7, it is not the length, but the depth of life that matters.
Yeah, this made me smirk a little.
So as I would take this is no matter how long you live, it's what you do while you're living. So if I went and became president, but I only lived to be 30, there's an example. Play on that.
Okay, so I would prefer if we said it this way. If it's it's essentially that it's not the destination that matters, it's the journey.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens is that what really matters is that it's not a matter of just like where you're going. Like I talked about having a big vision, right?
Yeah.
And having something that's so great that you keep moving towards that. But it's the journey towards that that's part of what makes the journey exciting.
Yeah.
Right? And so as long as you can be mindful of enjoying that and being able to see all the excitement that happens in that, then that's where you can really keep your zeal alive. And yeah, the truth is that it's really the journey that matters.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're growing and that's where you're
learning.
You're learning and you're winning your battles. And
when you do all that it's just your zeal's going to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Abraham Lincoln has a quote, and it is, "It's not the years in your life that count. It's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years."
Exactly.
Huh? It's not the years in your life that count. Okay, I get that. It's the life in your years. So pretty much just what you said, what you do in that amount of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the truth is that for a lot of people, they can go through life never living.
Yeah.
You know, like they really didn't have any
You
life
only
in their
live
years.
once.
You only live once.
Yeah.
But they, without the zeal in their lives, you can actually like not have a lot of years where you're living.
Yeah.
You're busy blaming everybody and just being frustrated about everything,
Going
with the flow,
Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff. And the truth is that they don't actually live a lot. They don't live a lot of their life.
Yeah.
But then there's other people that you've seen, like some people who are very successful. That what's the one thing they say? It's like he always, he lived a full life.
Yes.
Is the phrase they'll use. And it's because they can see that he really did live a full life. And the truth is that it doesn't matter how long it is. It just matters whether it's full or not.
Do you think Abraham Lincoln lived a full life?
Up until he was shot, yeah.
Oh, God. I didn't know that's what happened.
You didn't know that?
I don't know much about history. Wait, was he a president?
Yes, he
Okay,
was.
yes, I remember this
Yes,
now.
yes,
Okay.
there you go.
Okay. Number 8, embrace the process.
Embrace the process.
Embrace the process. There are 2 kinds of approaches. One is output. My finger is like purple. Look at it.
Well, take it off. What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Jeez.
It's getting its color back now. All right. Embrace the process. Okay. Embrace the process. So like, I came up with this crazy idea and I'm so passionate about it. Now it's time to embrace it and keep on the road to success.
Just making that up.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Embracing the process. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay,
If
so
you have a plan.
embracing the process really is about not worrying about what happens.
Okay.
So if you're all about the results,
Yes.
right? It's just like, I'm going to go and I'm going to win this, and then you don't.
Yeah.
Right? If you're all about that, then you're going to get your fire snuffed out, right? But if it's about the process, if it's all about the process of like, I'm going towards this vision, I'm going towards this big thing,
Okay.
and I'm going to go do this and I'm going to win, and I lose, but I'm like, nope, I'm moving toward my business, or I'm going to keep going, and I'm just going to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Then that is when it's about the process and not about the results.
Yeah, I took that a different way.
Yeah, you kind of went way
Typical me.
way off course. Yeah,
All right.
but that's how you learn.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
I embrace it.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in with us for how to gain more zeal when you have lost it.
How to gain more zeal, or how to be zealous in your life. It's very important, and it's
is.
something which clearly we've demonstrated matters greatly to being able to thrive in today's world.
Thank you for listening to Enter the Bunker. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, where you can share your story and also look at behind the scenes of how we make our podcast. You can watch the video version of this podcast on YouTube by simply searching Enter the Bunker. Tune in next time as we launch into thriving.